Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news. The first female leader of the opposition says the governing party is full of broken promises. The chairman of the PLP slams dirty politics. Why the leader of the Democratic National Alliance is praying for the prime minister. Plus, is it too late for the Freedom of Information Act? One organization weighs in.
News is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina McNeil. Topping news tonight, the Bahamian people have been hoodwinked by the Progressive Liberal Party, which has failed to live up to many of its election promises. That according to the first female leader of the opposition and now independent candidate for Long Island. Speaking with our news, Loretta Butler-Turner says she does not see the Bahamas getting any better over the next 5 years under a PLP government.
The Bahamian people have been hoodwinked. They've been bamboozled. I also, on the other side, want to say that if, in fact, the F&M prevails, which I believe will happen, I think at the end of the day, we've got to make sure that we have every strong voice in there to keep them also accountable. A government is only as effective as a strong opposition.
When the PLP took office in 2012, it pledged to fulfill a number of promises within the first 100 days. Those promises outlined in its Charter for Governance included reducing crime, helping homeowners, and doubling the nation's investment in education. Butler-Turner says many of those promises have not been realized.
First thing, they were going to eradicate crime. I'm surprised I don't see any billboards around this island talking about the high crime statistics. They were going to save homeowners' homes. Did not happen. They were going to employ 10,000 people within the first 100 days. I think the unemployment rate is probably through the ceiling. I certainly can speak to it in my constituency. They were going to ensure that education received a lot more investment and that there would be greater opportunities. And their big thing, they were going to roll out NHI.
Now, just 2 weeks before the next general election, Butler-Turner says it's just as important for the Bahamian people to hold the next opposition accountable for the future of the country.
At the end of the day, I would hope that the Bahamian people will realize that certainly we've seen a very bad PLP government that has not delivered on the majority of its promises. And so I hope that the Bahamas becomes better. I don't see it becoming better under the PLP, but you know, that's up to people. I would caution Bahamians once again, do not vote based on monies received in hand. Vote on who you truly believe is going to give you a sustainable, good government.
Chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Bradley Roberts, is calling this campaign season one of the worst he's ever seen, insisting that dirty politics has reached a frightening low. The PLP chairman pointed to incidents such as the defacing and tearing down of political signs and posters, as well as the break-ins and vandalism of a few constituency offices in recent weeks. But he says the worst of it involves the personal attacks on family members of politicians.
In attacking family members, they're not in the fray. We always subscribe to that. If you're going to attack anybody, you attack the politician. Never fool with our wives, our parents. They're not a part of the political front line.
Roberts says he believes social media also plays a major role, as well as individuals whom he believes will do or say anything to win.
It is a new vista that we're entering, because I think due mainly to social media that is driving this. And we have some individuals out there who appear, as far as they're concerned, to win an election is the end all for them. But on May 11th, when we wake up, it's the same Bahamas is going to be here, and we're going to still have to live with each other in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Roberts adds that the PLP is forging ahead with its campaign and will not be distracted. In other news, Prime Minister Perry Christie found himself facing heavy criticism following a microphone malfunction at his party's rally last weekend in Great Exuma. During his speech, Christie could be heard saying, "Listen, it's going so good now, God can't stop me now." The comments were immediately called blasphemous, but the PM defended himself, saying that his comments were taken out of context. DNA leader Granville McCartney says this isn't the first time the country's leader has been heard uttering these kinds of comments. One such instance, he says, was this, made by Christie on North Abaco back in October 2012.
You could go to Hubert. You can go to Gomez. You even could go to Minutes. But then they gotta call me.
It's unbelievable. Unthinkable.
They could have the best intention in the world. They could pray and do, oh God, I want to do this. But God has spoken. God has made me the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
McCartney says he personally prays for the PLP and the Prime Minister in the hopes that Christie takes a second look at his words and actions and asks the Almighty for forgiveness. Well, political newcomer Gadville McDonald says he's confident that he will be the next Member of Parliament for Cat Island, Rumkey and San Salvador, as he says those residents are fed up with their current MP. Giorgio Bain reports.
At the FNM's rally on San Salvador, candidate Gadville McDonald told scores of party supporters that Philip Brave Davis must go and that he is the man with the plan. According to McDonald, an FNM-led government will work hard to bring investment, jobs, and more economic opportunity to San Salvador. He added that he will create more opportunities that will coexist with Club Med with a view of encouraging young people to remain on the island and allow those who have left to return home. He added that for far too long, the current MP, Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis, has only looked out for his people.
An individual emerged who sought to undermine the potential of youth San Salvadorians. He tried to dampen the hard-working spirit of the constituents, and he tried to turn you into a community of beggars controlled by him. He went about choosing winners and losers.
McDonald told party supporters that he has heard their concerns about health care and education and promised that an FNM government will work aggressively with the University of the Bahamas to give each and every qualified Bahamian student free education.
You must reject this trick-or-treat government that tricks and decks you for 4.5 years and try to treat you for 6 months. They trick-or-treat, they're full of tricks. And they trick you for 4.5 years, bamboozle you for 4.5 years, and then try come around in the next 6 months and try to make you believe that they love you. Lord, I know they don't love you, baby.
McDonald also vowed to make land ownership a priority for his constituents.
We will ensure that there's a Back to San Salvador initiative that encourages your people to come back to San Salvador and contribute to the development of San Salvador in significant ways. We will incentivize the startup of 35 new entrepreneurs in San Salvador. Now, government jumpstart economies is going to ensure that everything that the government purchased for this island will be purchased locally.
Reporting for our news from San Salvador, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Still to come on our news, the FNM pledges to follow through on one of the Prime Minister's promises. We'll tell you who said it and why. Plus, civil society continues its push for freedom of information. That's coming up when our news returns.